All right, let's go and see what we have today for the Spirit read. What is the universe going to give us today as a topic? What is it going to share with us today? What is it the most beneficial for people to hear today? What is the most beneficial thing for people to hear today? Let's see what we have. What is the universe going to share today? Okay, so the first one out is joy. Joy. Always a good thing. And the second one out today is trust. Joy and trust. So let's see what we have with that, joy and trust. Let's do our astrology cards and see what we have with joy and trust. We have digest, which is Virgo, to digest. And with trust, we have retrograde, review. Okay. I think we'll use the new card, the simplicity ones, just to see how these are going to work with this. Okay, here's the back of them, the Simplicity Tarot. Let's look and see. Give these a ruffle shuffle. And let's see what we have with digesting joy and reviewing trust issues. Okay, so with joy, digesting, spiritual guide. So this deck has a couple of extra cards. This is one of them, the spiritual guide. Okay, and let's see what we have about the review, trust, 5 of Swords. Okay, about conflict and defeat. Okay, so let's look at these really quickly and see how we put this together. So part of it, as a spiritual guide, a spiritual advisor, we are here to give you the best things that we can to make your life as joyful as possible, to aid you to trust the universe, to trust what's coming into your lives, okay? And to digest. To digest means you get rid of the chaff, you get rid of the things, and you keep the things of value. So it's giving you as much information as we can, and you can pick and choose out of that what's benefiting for you in this moment in your journey. Now, like I said, not everything that we give out every day is going to be for every person. If it's not for you, you put it to side, and maybe something will come back later that you've heard and will at that point in your life be relevant. So this is about the joy. If you have a spiritual guide, someone that you can depend on to give you this information, and how to trust the universe, how to trust yourself, reviewing and looking at things that have gone before. Now this is the 5 of Swords, abuses of power, conflicts, defeats. Maybe it's looking at some things in the past that we've gone through and trusting the universe and seeing, even though we went through some things of conflict and defeat, that there is a golden nugget in there somewhere if we look and see. Like the one thing I put out today, maybe you had somebody that's really wealthy. They lost everything. They were very materialistic, but in the loss of everything, they wound up seeking God. They wound up seeking the things of spirit. They wound up. So even though they had conflict and they had defeat, it wound up being a thing of benefit. These are the left-handed blessings we have in life. Like I've talked about my life before, I came from an abusive home, and that just drove me in because I didn't have a family situation that was comforting, that was there to support me, okay? I was on my own, and so that just drove me inward to the spiritual journey. So it was a left-handed blessing. If you have a warm, comforting family, okay, maybe you're not going to delve and dive as deep. So you look at these things, these conflicts and some defeat things that happened, and you look and see what the value was in that, trusting the universe that something better is going to come. Okay? So again, the spiritual path is not always, joyful and easy breezy. Again, I keep referring back to Christ. You look at Christ and the path he walked. Was it easy? Okay? Even when he was giving up his body, his form, and he knew he was going to be crucified the next day, he was in Gethsemane, and what was happening? He was sweating blood. Now that's nervous. If you're sweating blood, that's intense. But he continued forward. He knew that was his mission to do, okay? So it's not easy. He was out in the wilderness. He had the temptations. All of that stuff is part of the journey. You will have temptations. You'll feel like you're out in the wilderness. You feel like there may be times like when he's on the cross, Father, why have you forsaken me? Okay? Well, that's part of the journey. When you lay down physically, you lay it down of your own accord, and you have to have that faith. You have to have that trust. And into your hands. Okay? So all of these things are part of the journey to go forward and to discover the divine is. Because we have free will, we have to lay down our lives of our own accord, and want God more than we want the physicality, more than we fear the fear of death, okay? And in that moment, you feel like you are dying. You actually have that fear. You don't know if you're going to be possessed, if you're going to be dying. You're not going to survive it, but you have to have that faith and trust, and then it's by grace that it happens. It's not by our own doing that we get to realization. It's by grace. Having that faith and trust and letting go of the ego of that persona, letting go, and having that faith and trust in God and the universe, and then everything shifts in a moment. So in that moment where you feel like you're facing defeat, you're facing, that is when the light dawns, so to speak, and there is a new birth that takes place. So thanks for tuning in. Much love and light, and I'll see you online.